recording. We are live. So let's do a recap. We will see where we left off, see what shall happen, and go from there. And yeah, I'll aim to stop this right around between 11 and 11:30 for you, Chris. I was thinking the same thing anyway, because I have to work tomorrow after all. But what happened last session? So we started with Malachi and Mad Krieg. The two of you were headed down to the docks to visit the Bloody Stool and see what you could come up with for this man named Mortlock. Mortlock Vindholt, who seemed to be the son of Thalamra Vindholt, who both Quinn has, well, some connections to or some information on anyway, from her past, as well as you met at the bathhouse. She mentioned that her son was not there at the time, but he might have some information about that letter that you had, Krieg. So you guys were headed down there to confront him and see what he might know about the matter. On the other side, we had Quinn and Mithra. The two of you hit the library of Baldur's Gate, did a little bit of research, got a bit of information, took some notes, learned a couple spells, and got all your other crap in order before headed back to meet with the others. Down at the Bloody Stool, what did you find? You met the owner, who goes by the name Captain, although her real name is Lorella Thundreth. She had a couple of bartenders and some halfling friends, some other people over there. There was a pair of drow twins who were there. You guys really didn't talk to some of the other people. Let's see, Malachi, you hit on Hitashi. She was a drunken sailor lady there. She wasn't too impressed with you, though. Who else was there that you talked to? Otherwise, besides talking with a few people here and there, the main person was Amric, who was over in the corner and was actually looking to give out loans of some sort or let people borrow money with high interest rates. Seemed to be quite wealthy. After chatting with him a little bit, you guys learned that it is Mortlock's brother. He too, it's going to be Amric Vindholt, who is there, and he really doesn't have much to do with that side of the family, but he was quite disliking of his brother. A very strong dislike, for that matter. Unsure of why why Mortlock always had the mother's approval, other than the others. But he offered you a bit of a job, bit of money. I believe it was 100 coin, 50 up front, and another 50 upon the return of his brother Mortlock's left hand. He wishes for you to kill his brother, but he definitely wants the left hand. You guys thought that was a pretty damn good deal. You could make a bit of change. All you had to do was find this guy and take his hand. So you signed up and headed on out the door. You bumped into a woman, full plate man, had a large shield strapped across her back and a long sword on her hip. Actually, a bit more of a bastard sword, really, but quite rude. She was curious on what you might know about the Hell Riders, Malachi. You two recognized that she actually wore the armor and had the crest of the Hell Riders on her breastplate. But she was interested in what you knew about Thavius Krieg, who is... you had a little bit of side story going on with that whole person and such, but she heard you mention the name and was rather interested. She, too, is searching for this man for some reason. It is... Technically, you know that Thavius is sort of like her superior. He's not really a soldier personnel, but he is one of the rulers, or the high overseer, it's called, of the city that they're from there up north. It is now gone. But he was, from what she knows, she thinks he made it out of the city alive and is harboring somewhere or something within Baldur's Gate and is searching for him. Being that you didn't really know where he was, she let that go rather rudely and left you guys for your own devices. I believe it was Mithra. You noticed that she was following the group here and there, though, trying to spy on what you guys were doing. You guys went, got yourselves some nice fancy clothes so you could go to the bathhouse. Made your way in there. Inside, you talked to a few different people, soaked in some hot baths, flirted with the ladies. Only big thing you noticed about the whole bathhouse itself was there was a lot of elven statues, mostly drow, scattered about this place. Krieg, you noticed they weren't the handiwork of any skilled artisans or anything. They were much too real, even though they were stone now, to be just basic statues. They were most certainly alive at one point of time. You've heard rumors that there is a Medusa somewhere around that tends to turn them to stone, but unless you're polite to her. From there, you guys got some masseuses in, stuff like that, poked around a little bit, found a tunnel that led down beneath the bathhouse, and decided to look into this matter of the Dead Three. It seems that there's some sort of cult or organization that is thriving within the bathhouse around the city, and seems to be coming from the sewers or from the under city of the bathhouse. Down in there, you trudge through some swampy waters, some dead bodies floating about, and a little room that had the symbols of the Dead Three, which would be Bane, the god of tyranny, Baal, the god of murder, and Merkel, the lord of bones. This little chamber had these three symbols on each of the doors. You poked around in one that went down into a sunken water room, which you didn't mess with much further than that. And then headed south through the Merkel, the Lord of Bones door, entered a room that had some bodies laid out on the floor, their intestines animated into sort of like a organ golem creature thing that attacked along with a large zombie-ish undead creature. Guys were able to take that out, poked around in the room beyond, which had a large sculpture, skull-type thing that was pouring water into a fountain. The water itself was reddish, pinkish colored, had hands floating in it. I'd have to go back and look. I think I put in the chat what it said above it. I'll find that in just a second. But otherwise, when you get to leave, you notice that the door to go back out of this place was sealed shut. And we ended it there, and I think I have it right here in the chat what it said without me having to go grab my notes. But let's see. Drink. Leave your left to fix the right, drop the right to take what's left. Which here, I will, just for our ease of sake, I'll put it right into the chat so we all have it. Oh, somebody already did. Well then, thanks there, Joe. So yeah,
I was off a bit. I missed it. Close.
Take was us. Oh. That way you just got the. Do I have it? Yeah, right there. Let's see. Copy. That way, yeah, everybody knows it's perfect. So that, and that is where you guys left off. Was trapped in this little. It's a 15 by 15 foot chamber, a little side stairwell down into a smaller room with a fountain that this bone-like statue that is dedicated to the undead Lord of Bones miracle is spilling into dead hair. Left hands and other hands, well, a little bit of mixture of all hands floating within it. Anything anybody would like to add? Oh, that seemed like a lot more than I thought it was, but... All right. So with that said, all of you will be standing in this room as the moments pass. Krieg, you're looking into this fountain filled with hands floating, some of them submerged, some of them rotten, some of them fairly fresh looking within this basin. I do have my cards here. I don't know if you still have it, Quinn, but I do have Exhaustion 1. Did you heal that, Krieg? I don't remember. I think it came up, but...
The Exhaustion 1, I don't believe I did.
Okay.
I still have it on my character sheet.
Okay. So you still have that. So you'd be panting, trying to catch your breath a little bit, Quinn. Not quite feeling all that well. You seem to have contracted something from that room before when you're splashing around in the disgusting water and ichor. So as you will stand there, maybe you're back against the wall, Quinn, looking at these bodies on the floor. They're all laid out in sort of a triangular shape with one another. Their heads all coming to a center point in the center of the room, where there's a black pillar, chains hang around them. Their intestines splattered across the floor now in pools of blood. You'll think back a little bit. Why don't you give us your flashback?
Yes, and in the bottom of this Vin Holt residence, we are seeing Quinn coming down to that exhaustion and looking around at all the gore and blood splatter, and it brings her back again, not too far after her last vision with the run-ins with the Vinholts. Only after this bump in, this bloody first kill of Quinn's with Flanagan Vinholt, a lot begins to quickly change in her life after her and Malachi murdered that man. Malachi was probably the person who changed the most around her life. He acted the same way around Quinn, but whenever he looked at her, there was just something different in his eyes. She could never really put a name or expression on the feeling, but it was like he wanted to hate her, but he couldn't, or perhaps it was the other way around. But when Quinn wasn't around, that's when Malachi really started to show his changes, and he didn't know that Quinn seen this, but he did. She did. He was more aggressive, and that hatred in his eyes seemed to explode out of him. And with this new change of Malachi, it was at that point that the sinner's sanctum, the brothel that they were raised in, and their birth mother decided they could not deal with him anymore and decided to send him away to some kind of boarding school. For 4 long years, he was gone. And those 4 years also marked the day that she would be of the age to apply to the Arcanum. She thinks back to those days and wishes more than anything that the years could have flown by, how they would have just been a blink, and then she could have been on to the better parts of her life. But those years definitely did not. They were some of the hardest and darkest days that she ever lived. Her tutor and her first friend besides her brother, Imogen, started to come by less and less after the incident with the Vinholts. Not by choice, but due to the attention that was drawn to the place after the murder. She did, however, leave books, and Quinn began to study the uses of the weave and the manipulation of arcana to form magical spells and that study of it. By the age of 10, she already mastered a couple of cantrips, and she was working her way to actually casting spells. There was always one section in particular of the book that Imogen left, this black silvery book that she calls her spell book today. Imogen's old book, and it was a ancient and forgotten practice of magic that she seemed to have penciled or inked in herself. And this school of magic, no longer taught to these days, was called onomancy. Apparently their Arcanum deemed it too dangerous, and perhaps that's what drew her in. She cared less and less about the daily chores around the brothel, and more about learning. And in doing this, Gestiel, the barback and owner of the Sinner's Sanctum, became more and more angry with her. So one day, he decided to put Quinn's mother against her, to threaten, to take away her studies, to take away her books, to take away the only thing that she could cling on to. She hid the books really well up until this point, but she got a little more careless in her age and more consumed with the books. And it was at this point when she was studying, her mother walked in and began to lecture her. And it was the first time she even really remembers as a kid her mother speaking to her. She told her that she needed to put away these books, and that it was a complete waste of time to even study. What would a girl like her, this sewer rat girl, ever have a chance at going to the most prestigious school in Baldur's Gate have? Like, how could she ever do this? And she remembers thinking this being kind of the first words that her mother ever spoke to her. And it's at this point that she began to truly understand the power that Quinn had, because she decided to pull something, or discovered that she pulled something out of her mother that day, her mother's true name. And then at that point, when she learned her mother's true name, she learned how truly sad of a woman she was. She did not care for Quinn, for Malachi, or any of her dozens of other kids that she's had. She has not even a single ounce of remorse or love inside of her. Just a disgusting creature, as Quinn is seeing her for the first time, her true name, that would do anything for her next fix. Once she learned the true name, she realized how easy it was to persuade her and within a moment she made her mother forget about her entire existence, as if she was never born. And once she learned that she could do this, it became easier and easier to use this power over others. We cut to the next scene of her in the back storeroom of the bar. Her face is searing hot from a slap that Justeel, the owner, just struck her across the face with. Her vision is blurry, but after the years of hits that she's taken, the vision quickly recovers. She's a stronger girl now, a bit older, and this plump, pear-shaped man with a large mustached face that has agonized her through her years is now laying on the ground on his knees, in a stream of tears from his face and a stream of piss from his legs. Quinn currently has him bent to her will, and there's a smile across her face because it feels good, and this is what Justeel deserves. And she speaks out Justeel's true name, some arcane power to it. Justeel Evra Taka. No more will you strike me. No more will you yell. Never will you tell me what to do, because I know who you are. I know everything that you've done, everything that you will ever be capable of. I know your name, and you will never forget mine. And she commands Justeel to take up the knife that has fallen to him. He does so, shaking against his will, and Quinn commands Justeel to discipline himself, to commit her name to his memory, and he begins carving into his arms, not once, not twice, or even thrice. He begins to lose count at how many times he etches the name into Justeel's arm. And from that day forward, Justeel never bothered her again. No one from the sanctum did, for 4 years. The rest of that time is blurred suffering, truly alone. And then eventually, Malachi comes back, and it's her first day at the Arcanum.
Beautiful. Just as a warning, I still have a cold, so sound like crap.
Awesome. I loved it.
Go.
So the rest of you will notice Quinn seems to be lost in these thoughts. Her back against the southern wall on the cool stone, looking a bit beat up, a bit exhausted. Her breathing perhaps a bit labored. This door leading north back into the hexagonal room that had the rest of these doors, this exit from this place that you find yourselves in, unbudging. You can pull on the iron handle, yank on it, push on it, and beat on it all you want, but it doesn't seem to move or budge a bit. What do you all do?
Well, that door looks like it's sealed up shut. I guess one of us is going to have to get a little handy.
Doesn't make sense.
Less handy.
We just took a fucking left hand. Why don't we just use that? It's pointless to come here for a left hand and then give them one. Like, I don't know what, a fucking goddamn altar with water. Fuck that. I'm like,
I agree with Malachi. I don't see why it has to be one of our hands. It's asking for a hand as payment, but I mean, if you guys came here to get a hand, maybe you should get that.
Like, I know we don't get any money without this hand. Maybe we can bring him his head. I don't know. Maybe if this even his brother. Fuck. You think that mess of fucking crap is his brother?
And I can tell, I'm assuming that this door is locked by a spell, so there's no other way to open it, like no lock picking, no breaking it. Can I tell that it's a magical, like that's the only way to get out?
From the side you're on, yeah, there is no locks or anything. There's a door handle, just a simple iron rod that you can grab a hold of and pull and push or do whatever. But there is no keys. There is, on the other side, I had that big iron ring too that you knocked. But knocking that on the other side is what opened the door. So it does seem to be some sort of spell or some sort of enchantment that holds this door from this side. On the other side, it will
lock if someone comes from the other side.
Most likely,
or open.
Yes.
Sorry, it will open if somebody comes to the other side.
Most likely, yes.
Well, is there any way we can get someone else down here, guys, to let us out?
Oh, I'll just send out word on a pigeon.
Okay, I got a question. I'm not exactly sure how this would work, especially since Malachi has no idea how this would work. But is it possible to Misty step through the door to the other side where we came from?
Oh, does Misty Step have to be within a sight?
I believe it is.
Or does it just have to be known?
I thought it had to be known, but I don't have the direct explanation of the spell right here. I only have the effect.
You can see, it says.
See?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So yeah, you can't see the other side. You can poke around maybe at the floor and the seams. There is no lock hole to peer through. It's quite tight to the floor and then the walls, and I mean can't really see to the other side at all.
All right, then yeah, you would just. I don't know, man. I still think we should give it that fucking guy's hand, not your hand.
Yeah, we have
I'm not giving him my hand. I already lost a fucking eye.
No one's fucking cutting off a hand, I'll say irritatedly. We've been getting the shit kicked out of us, nearly dead every single time we get into a circumstance. I'll be fucked if they're getting anything else from us. I'm gonna go inspect the fountain.
You can give me a religion, you can give me an arcana. Either one of those will work.
I can't use Mage Hand, can I, to open this door?
I don't have Mage Hand here. Let me read the spell.
So I was just thinking, probably should look at it.
Sorry, I should have looked at the chat.
Oh,
Because
no,
I do have that, actually.
Totally cool.
Use an action control to control a hand which can manipulate objects less than 10 pounds. But I don't know if that includes opening something that's locked.
So I was thinking, like, if we just have to use that knocker to open it.
Oh, true. Yeah, exactly. I could just knock.
That's the thing. I don't know if you have to be able to see the thing.
Does it actually say you do?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I can't see where it'd say. You have to see.
It just a floating hand appears at a point a point you choose within range, within 30 feet.
So I'm going to go up to the door then and see if I can use Mage Hand to use the knocker.
I'd say you'd have to be familiar with the area you have it in, but you've been there already, so I mean...
Yeah, we came from the outside, right? So,
yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to try. I mean, I don't know if there's anything I have to roll or if it just is automatic.
You can take your 10 up to 30 feet, so it's right on the other side. So, yeah, no, go ahead and describe what you do.
All right, I'm going to sort of reach my hand out towards the door, and like a sort of glowing golden hand is going to come out of my hand, and I'm going to tell it to knock on the knocker on the outside of the door and see if the door will open.
Knock 3 times.
Knock 3 times. And then after it knocks, the hand will sort of hang there, just waiting for further instruction.
Right. Did you still want to inspect that altar, Quinn?
I rolled a 20. I used my inspiration, Arcana.
Okay. What do we got? Let's see. Oracles, crypts. Look this over. You're going to notice the statue itself looks to be pieced together from bones, all different creatures. Some of them you may recognize to be humanoid, other ones look bestial or even animal, perhaps. But all of these are stitched together and tied together, small twine and such, are glued together, bits of cement and mortar. And it makes up this larger, almost demonic-looking statue. Rags will hang off of it, sort of mimicking the idea of tattered flesh. The skull itself is much larger than a simple human skull, maybe 2 or 3 times the size of that small giant's head, perhaps. And then the water pours from this into this fountain below it. There's 14 hands currently floating in the water, both left and right, a little mixture of both. The water is stained with the blood. And it seems to be the same water that's filtered through. You'll notice a few small holes at the base of this fountain. It looks like it's being filtered down through, back up through the statue, out its mouth, and back into the water, just continuously flowing. The statue and the bones themselves, though, you notice all different ruins, all different carvings stitched across these things. Give me a 1d4 roll.
Yeah, I'll do that. 2.
2. So you're gonna poke around a little. You'll notice two of these bones look a little bit loose. You might be able to pry them off or take them. They're covered in, can't quite make out the ruins or what language or what origin they have, but there's something familiar about them.
Now I do have I do have comprehend languages. If I pull out a dagger and try to pry these loose, do I think if I do the ritual, if this will give me some kind of guidance as to what these runes say, or do I just figure that the runes maybe aren't that important?
Nope, that would definitely help you for sure. And they do look, the bones themselves don't look magical, but whatever they're describing or whatever these ruins outline are certainly magical in origin.
Yeah, so I guess it all depends. Like if with a 20, I'm under the influence that the fountain controls the door, right? On the Arcana, or is there more to it?
There's definitely a connection between the two, yes.
Yeah, so if Mithra just opens the door, I don't think I would spend 10 minutes doing a ritual to comprehend the languages unless I think there's more to it. Like, do I just think that this is like instructions on how to operate the fountain?
No, we got a 20. No, they look like they're some sort of, they almost look like scrolls, but carved into bones themselves instead of simple,
Yeah. I will then say, hold up a second. I want to check these out. And
What the hell are you doing over there, Quinn?
Listen, I think I found something. And I'll try to pull out my dagger and jam it in and try to shimmy out whatever these things are. Can I pry them loose?
Yep, there will be two of these that you're able to pull loose. Both, maybe like a femur or an arm bone of some sort. Not really large.
Malachi will start to walk up to his sister to see what she's doing at this point.
Okay, there's runes on it. I think there's some kind of demented scrolls or something.
What, does it look like a language?
It doesn't really look like a language per se. It's ruins and carvings, things you don't quite recognize, but it certainly has a written in magic origin to it.
If it has, I'm just going to say this, but I have Invocation, Eyes of the Runekeeper, so I can read any language. I'm not sure if that would apply to this or not, but if it doesn't, that's fine.
Nope, that would completely, if you wanted to look over these.
I'd look at Quinn and I'd be like, oh, this says blah, 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 blah.
Well, one is going to be a scroll then, but they're work just like a scroll, or at least Quinn would think so anyway. But one is Ray of Sickness, and the other is Fog Cloud.
Yeah, I would explain all of this. I'd be like, yeah, Quinn, there's spells. Like this is Fog Cloud, and this is Ray of Sickness, and this is how you use them, this is what you do, and there you go. Yeah.
I would just kind of be looking at him like dumbfounded, like you're fucking talking out of your ass. And then as he's explaining it and pointing his fingers over like the key words, I imagine I would be like catching up to him.
What do you mean? You don't see it? It's just it's like it's in a regular language. You can just read it. It's just right in front of you. I don't get it.
Yeah. Of course I've seen it. Like obviously I've seen it. Like it's right there. Like you said, get a little bit defensive on you.
That is a part of my fiend ability too. So just out of game.
I would like angrily kind of tuck them into my bag because I don't imagine I get shown up by Malachi too often in that regard. So it was Ray of Sickness.
Ray of Sickness and Fog Cloud.
Fog Cloud. I'm going to just tuck that away for now. It's not the time to deal with that, but that becomes useful later.
Yeah, well, that's going on. Krieg is going to go look at the body of that, like the large meat thingy. Dead guy or whatever that came out, because I'm really not sure, or I really don't believe that's the guy we were looking for. This seems more like it was possibly like an undead construct.
Yes, as you.
Yeah, I think you're right. I got a problem with that too.
Yep, it is definitely stitched together body parts. It looks like some sort of almost like a flesh golem you would recognize or something, but definitely an undead stitched together being. Even the armor itself is fused to the skin in spots here and there, and certainly something undead created. Sort of a mindless zombie type creature of some sort. Not, at least you hope not, Mortlock.
Yeah. It'd definitely be hard to, find a scar on this thing. Just going back to, what we know, that usually wears a mask to hide a scar on his face, the brother had said.
Yep.
So, yeah. I'm really not thinking that this was the fellow we're looking for. It doesn't smell like money. Looks like it's been dead a long time.
I think we need to get out of here fast and get more help.
Just as a heads up, Quinn, put a little asterisk or something next to those scrolls, because they have other stuff that might come up with them when you use one, or do whatever you want to do with them, but just so I can double check back when you do make use of them.
Yeah, I plan to do a full identify on them before. I just don't want to spend 10 minutes down here.
Gotcha.
All right, well, I hate to talk about spending more time, but before we get out of here, this thing came out of a hallway, didn't it? Was there a hallway that it came?
Nope, it came out of this room that has the fountain in it, down the stairwell. So basically, it was guarding the fountain area. But
okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm ready to get out of here. All 10 digits.
Yeah, but we still don't have the hand. I'm sorry, my computer spaced. I don't know if we went over this. Shouldn't we go fucking kill this guy? Like,
I mean, we're talking about what, 30, 50 gold here, and we've obviously walked into something much bigger. We need help. This isn't worth our lives.
I gotta point this out though. We already took the guy's money. We're wearing nice fancy suits. If we don't do the job, he might come after us.
That's even better. We're already paid.
Well, we got half paid. That is more coin.
We always give him the coin back, I guess, or fuck him. Really, it doesn't matter. I guess.
Underground death cult. We almost got fucked up by that thing. We know our track record here.
Let's just Quinn. I just want to get that, like, literally out of here as fast as we can.
Listen, we'll get some Hell Riders or some fucking Flaming Fist, whatever. We just.
I'm not fucking. No. We're not getting those little fucking pansies. Well, fine. I can understand getting Mithra out of here, but I'm not fucking dealing with any of those fancy fucking bullshit knights that fucking can't even do anything.
Well, then, by all means, I'll hold my hands out. Whoever the fuck you want to get, I'm good with that. I'm just tired of us all almost dying every time we fight something.
You're right. We shouldn't go stumbling around in the dark. I think at that point, Krieg's going to turn around, kind of looking out into the vast space of the room, and just at the top of his lungs scream out, "Hey, Martelloc! Get your ass out here, you fucking cunt!"
Oh,
I think that'll do.
I hope that works. I'm not letting go of this fucking hand until we know them.
All the while, Mithra will be standing to the side, preparing her spell, waiting for all of you people to do what you're doing. And you'll see this golden hand sort of come off of hers through this door. There will be a heavy thump, just a slam into the other side of this door that you're on. It doesn't sound like that of a ring being knocked. Then you will hear the once, the twice, and the third knock of this iron ring on the opposite side of the door. And there will be a slight click sound, and the door will open an inch or so. Mithra, as your spell is able to manipulate this from the other side. And you'll hear what sounds to be a splash of water, and then another heavy bam on the other side of the door as it flings itself open. A figure standing there. It's quite tall. It's maybe 6.5 feet tall. Smells of just urine and piss and garbage. Fur and hair covers most of its body. In one hand, what looks like maybe somebody's arm dangles there.
Yikes.
It stops for just a moment. Hey, Quinn, are you down here? I smell you. I smell you, man. I smell you. I came. I told you I had your back.
Oh,
Wait.
shit.
What the fuck? Coyote?
Yeah, shit's going to hell, man. Shit's going to hell. I made a friend. And he'll look around for a moment, and he steps.
I'm so happy to see you.
He'll come running in for a moment, letting the door start to close behind him. He says, hey, now listen. I saw you guys when you were getting there. You're getting all pretty fat and stuff. And you looked mighty fine, Quinn. Beautiful girl. I was down in the alleyway. I was making some friends with the cats and all. Yeah, I like cats. You know, I had a cat once, Quinn. You know what I named it?
Coyote. I am very glad that you are here right now, but for every word that you say, you're ruining it one step further. So, can we just take this good moment for what it is?
Yeah, I'll catch you up when we get back. But man, we don't want to go back the other way. All hell's breaking loose, man. All hell's breaking loose. You know, she came in and she was like, what? And all these people were dying. And this guy, he tried to stab me, cut my ass wide open. And I got pissed off, man. And you notice that he is more in his feral-looking form as he steps out of the darkness in this room beyond and into the lights, more in his whatever creature he's part of.
Wait, they cut you? I'll say to him. That's new to me, right? Last time he was in this form, he couldn't be cut.
Right.
Whose arm is that?
He says, I don't. One of those assholes upstairs, man, came in, tried to cut me up, and sliced my ass cheek wide open, and I got pissed, man. I got pissed, ripped his arm off, and well, yeah, all hell's breaking loose up there, man. And she told me to come down here, and she was on her way.
Who's she?
It's behind that, you'll see another figure push open this doorway, kind of kicks it to the side, puts a small rock in the corner so it doesn't shut. You'll see a woman standing about 6 foot tall, full plate armor, the sign of the flaming fist across her breast. It's like, I knew the lot of you would get stuck in this. Come on, we don't have time to waste in this place. Let's get the hell out of here. And she'll turn. Let's go. We don't have time. I said, let's go.
Yeah, we're moving, but can we at least get a name?
Yeah, I fucking know her name. I don't really know her name, but I know her. Fuck.
So if you don't have time for pleasantries right now, you call me Lieutenant. And she'll step out into this room, this hexagonal room. You notice, well, she holds open the door long enough for you guys to get out. The door to the north, the one that you came through originally, she has her shield lodged up underneath it so it can't be opened. On the other side, you can hear pushing and pounding against it. It gives away a little bit, but seems to be jammed shut for the moment. She says, we're going to have to find a different way through this place. Says, everybody upstairs is it's just chaotic. The guard are showing up. The bathhouse is in chaos, and your friend killed more than a few. We didn't have a choice but to follow you down here. We need to find another way out of here.
Yeah, we're coming. Lead the way. Do you know where we're going?
She looks around. Says, I ain't got the slightest clue where we're going. I came down here to save your asses. I hope you knew something.
Insight check.
So I was just about to say, like, can I investigate the stonework to maybe get a clue on direction-wise?
Go ahead. Give me an insight first, Quinn. Are you inciting her?
Yeah, I'm going to incite her. And I'm off to my typical roll below 10. I got a total of 12 with modifiers, though.
She looks genuine. You can see a bit of worry on her face as she's looking at the door where people are trying to get through, and she kind of stares around trying to figure out what the best course of action might be. But she does seem genuine that she needs to get out of here along. Well, doesn't seem like she's overly concerned about all of you, but she certainly is looking to get out of here.
Yeah, me too. So that's enough for me.
Yeah, I'd like to investigate the stonework, see if maybe there's, I don't know, something that might point towards fresh air coming in, maybe moss growth or directional flow of water along the stone, or I don't know, some dwarfy magic.
Go ahead and I'm going to say investigation, but you can give yourself a slight bonus for that.
Okay. Would the stone cunning apply?
Yeah.
Dwarf stone cunning. Okay. Hey, that's a modified 18.
So, North would have led you out of this place, but there's definitely people there, not looking like the safest routes of direction. To the west, or I guess where you guys are at, to your left would be the area that went down. That is where Quinn was stepping around in the water and didn't feel so hot when she came out. And that area is definitely more of just a stagnant cesspool of water, nothing that looks too safe. Behind you, you know where that led to. Really, the only option you see, Krieg, is to go through the, I guess it would be the eastern door, which is, who is that? I'll have to look in just a moment. It is Baal, the god of murder. His emblazoned is on this doorway. Looks like a black fist holding a sword. But can't say it's fresh water, but it looks like the safest route, only because it's the unknown route.
Right, it's less stagnant than the other stagnant water.
Yeah.
It's a completely wild and random guess, but I'm going to say that one. Mr. Murder over here. That pool's been sitting straight and still for a long time, and water only does that when there's no flow. I mean, it's that or we wade through the hordes of whatever is on the other side of that door. The bathhouse.
Coyote, what do you smell, boy?
He's going to drop down, go over by this door. A smell. Blood. The copper tinge. It stings into my nostril hairs. Makes my tail twitch.
Then maybe we've got a good fight through there.
This woman, the lieutenant who I'll call her, will go over. She kicks the bottom of her shield in a couple more times, jamming it in between a crack in the stone and the handle on this door. She's pushing it shut. She says, gonna have to leave it behind. It's at least give us a bit of time. Perhaps 5 to 10 minutes at least. But we need to go. She'll walk over, grabbing that iron ring and giving it a yank, seeing it doesn't move.
You've got a knock. Have you ever seen a knocker before? Look at this git.
Alright, I'm fucking running.
As I pass Coyote, I'm going to say, she likes roses.
Yeah, I knew she was a pleasant girl. Thanks for that, Malachi. You got it. I can give her some roses.
Yeah, I'll go up past her and grab that ring and knock it 3 times.
You'll hear that.
Knock, lass. Knockers knock.
She'll give you a bit of a dirty look. I guess they do. And you'll hear that soft click of the door and props open. This one would open outwards toward you, actually, as it swings open a little bit. Beyond is a long, dark hallway. There is no torches. There is no light down this hallway. At the end, Mithra, you can at least see down the hallway. You can see it goes down about 30 feet, and then stairwell that goes down a little bit further, and then a second stairwell that goes down. You can all hear the splashing, sloshing of water at the far end of the tunnel.
What order are we in right now? Like, in terms of going, like, getting out of here? Like, what
totally
order
cold.
are we in? Are we all kind of, like, grouped together?
Oh, yeah, in the room you're in, you're all sort of circled together. But when you start going down this hall, it's only 5 feet wide, so you have to have a marching order if you go down this hall.
Coyote
You guys
first.
want to go down the hall?
Yeah, are there torches in this room? Like in
Nope.
the wall?
Nope. Oh, you're a dwarf, too, so yeah, you can still see down there, see the same thing as Mithra. A couple
Yeah, I
of
guess
stairwells that
that's-
lead down. And
Okay. I don't really want to go first, but I'll go... Krieg, do you want to go first, and I'll go
No.
behind you?
I'm gonna say Coyote first. He has the best sense of
Okay, yeah,
smell.
we'll have him first, and then Krieg, and then me, because we can see. Or do you want me and Krieg in the back?
I'm good with that. You, Lieutenant, in the back. Me and my brother.
says, no. You don't have the superiority to order me.
I mean, I'm not giving you an order. I'm just saying what's happening. If you want to sit here and fucking argue about it, that's
Better
cool,
go
but
first,
I'm
Quinn.
just
Maybe
going.
she'll die. Fucking who cares?
I'm already walking.
And I
Two
send
of you
the
need to
long
be.
shanks that can't even see down here up front. What a bloody great plan.
Coyote will drop down to all fours, sniffing the air and hurry ahead. This woman will sort of inject herself actually in the rear of the line. Says, I think I will take it in the back.
Good
I
idea.
bet you will.
Stop, sort of thinking of her words a moment. Yes.
I'm
I'll
whisper
watch
like,
through.
Krieg, shut the fuck up.
So I got Coyote, and then who?
Krieg.
Coyote, Krieg,
Moving
And
forward.
then me.
and then Mithra. Okay.
I'm going to bonus action extract the Coyote's true name if I can. He needs to make a wisdom save if he's gonna try to resist it, or he can choose to succeed.
Sorry, is it Quinn and then Malachi after me?
Yeah. Do you tell him you're doing this?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, hey, I want to make sure that you're okay and help you out a bit. Come here, and I'll give him like an ear scratch, and then begin to like mutter stuff.
So scratches your ear. See his leg go a little crazy for the moment as you dig behind there. But yeah, he's not going to resist you in that case.
Yeah, good boy. I don't really have a true name for him unless you do, but
I
Carbone.
do. I will. Click. Let's see what his true name is going to be. Ooh, that's not the wrong button. I don't know what that is.
Sorry, this might sound like a dumb question, but like if Quinn was to share his true name, because like say someone like would my magic be more effective on him, or is it just Quinn because she's onomancy?
Just Quinn's in that case.
So it doesn't really make any difference for me like casting a spell if I know his true name or not?
Nope, since you're not an anomancer, that's more of like a benefit of that
Okay.
path, that tradition, or whatever it's called for mages.
And
His true
Coyote
name,
is like he's willing, right? Like
Yeah.
not like
well, he thinks he's just getting good scratches and such, but you will recognize his true name, Quinn, as Esben Saphis.
Oh, we're gonna have to get that in the chat.
We'll do that. Esben Saphis.
And then as we're going, I'm just readying action.
He will score for Malachi, then Quinn, and then the lieutenant. All right. So behind you, you'll see this tall woman has her blade already out. You'll notice her blade is quite bloody already, Quinn, and she steps behind you. A couple small scratches on the inside of one of her forearms, still drips with fresh blood. She has a bit of a black eye. Looks like she's been in a bit of a fight. As Coyote scurries ahead, you guys will notice, too, that he has a few cuts and scrapes, a pretty big gash in his hindquarters that is sort of stitching up itself a little bit. It looks partially healed over or clotted, but it certainly was painful to look at. You'll move down this hall. You'll attain in the lead. As you come down, you go down a stairwell for about 10 feet. Straight ahead again for another 20 feet or so, and then down a second stairwell, leading deeper into this place. At the base of the second stairwell, you'll hear Coyote as he steps into the water, splashing. This one, Krieg, as you get up there, it certainly looks a lot, still rather disgusting water, but it's certainly not stagnant like the other ones, as it splashes about. And Coyote's going to stop just at the corner. Say, hey, man, I smell something. It smells like blood and... You hear that? It's breathing. Everybody give me a perception check.
Not natural 21, because you can't roll 21 on dice.
Ooh. You roll blackjack.
I got a nat 20 plus 4, so unnatural 24.
Of course, underground.
I always get my nat 20s, like, never when it's attacked. It's always when it's, like, something, like, which is cool, but, like, when I'm investigating, I always get a nat 20. And then or a high number. But then when I, like, need to do something important, it's like, no, fuck you.
12 and 10. So, Malachi and Mithra, and Coyote, and actually Lieutenant as well, you guys will all hear it. It sounds like really heavy, labored breathing around the corner of this room. And Coyote will peer around a little bit and says, I can't see much. My eyesight ain't the best it used to be. But I can smell it. I can smell it. There's something in there. Something bloody.
Can I see?
Does it smell big?
Well, I don't know. What does big smell like?
I don't know. You're the one with the nose.
I'm going to...
Well, I mean, I got a nose, but I don't smell anything but shite.
You guys are making me nervous. And I'm going to...
Can I see what's down here?
Giant great sword, and I'm going to look at the fucking night chick and just kind of wink at it. Black, fucking ornate, crazy, etched fucking great sword.
If you wanted to move, as you look around the corner, Krieg, you can't quite tell either. The darkness in this room, there's still no torches or anything. You can see something beyond, but you can't quite make it out. Mithra, if you wanted to move up behind Coyote and trade places with Krieg, that'll put you in second. But
Sure.
you think...
Will I be able to see if I do that? Okay, sure.
Just say just real quick. I'm only like 4 feet tall. Can she look over the top? If I press
Oh
forward
yeah,
a bit.
true. I'm a pretty tall elf.
She'll just use you for a stepping stool. She leans over, then appears around the corner.
Yes, thanks, Krieg.
Yeah, I just,
Always got
rather
my
keep
back.
the shield out front.
You always got my back, even when I have to stand on your back.
I just think it's safer to keep the shield right up at the front of that hallway.
It's
So
true.
Look around the corner into this room. You can see that most of it is flooded.
Wait till I learn some healing spells.
There's a few tall pillars, decorative, that decorate this room. 4 of them that you can make out. Each one looks to be some sort of dark knightly sort of person, like a dark paladin or something like that, and their hands raised above their heads to hold up the ceiling. The water just is completely stained with blood. It trickles of it mingling in, and you'll notice that every now and then more drips into this pool of water, just this bright crimson that slowly disperses out amongst the water. You can hear, and you think there's something beyond, around the corner, sort of into the main room itself, but without actually stepping into the room, you can't tell. But you can certainly hear labored breathing, the whispers of somebody at the far side of the room, and every now and then a small, like a intake of breath or a grunt of pain.
I'm gonna tell the rest of the group that I can hear someone and that there's blood dripping into the water.
Do we need a distraction?
We need something.
Right, I'm all over it.
I'm right fucking behind
Well, I
you.
think the guy's hurt. If anything, he's in trouble, but I don't know what got him, so we might be in trouble
That's
too.
exactly it. If he's hurt, something hurt him.
Let's go.
Which means it might be here. And Krieg's gonna slip out kind of along the wall away from the hallway. I don't know if he can get like 20 feet before bumping into another wall or so. He'll get there and then bang his sword on his shield. Oi, fucker!
Are you...
To
So you're...
distract and pull, yeah.
All right, cool.
Whatever's
Next-
out there is hopefully going to pay more attention to me than anybody else.
All right, so as he steps out, you can see him pushes back up against the wall, slide along it into the main area of this room. It's a fairly rectangular room, about 30 feet long, 15 foot wide, this square rectangular room. A few doors here and there scattered across it. Most of it is sort of at a slant, Krieg. So the side that you're in has water about a foot deep, but it goes at a ramp up, and at the far end there's no water. You'll actually see what looks to be a person, 2, 3 people, once you look a little bit closer. One of them spread out on top of an altar of some sort, his hands in the air, tied above him, just covered in looks like his own blood. 2 other figures in the shadows ahead. What do the rest of you do when he does this?
I'm gonna fire off my ready to action, which is channeling the true names of Malachi, Mithra, and now Coyote, and giving them a bless.
Sorry, what does that do again? That gives
You
us...
D4 to your attack rolls and ability checks.
My true
And
name
saving
is
throws, not ability
actually
checks.
changed, and it might be hard for you to get.
Oh, interesting. Then it wouldn't go off on you if it's changed.
Sorry, to any attack rolls and ability checks?
So let me just double check. Attack rolls, saving throws. Sorry, no ability checks. And you just add a D4 to every saving throw and attack roll.
Cool.
Yeah, it would have to be up to like Morgan, like for what you'd have to do to attain my my new name, I guess. But it probably wouldn't be that hard for you. Obviously, you're fucking professional at it. But
Well, and you guys are siblings.
I would
Yeah,
definitely notice it didn't go
things have
off on you.
changed. Yeah.
You can see the slight aura around Mithra and Coyote. He's going to stay right next to you, Krieg, almost padding behind you, like a dog staying at your side. And Mithra and Malachi, what do you 2 do? As Krieg
Malachi,
steps
what
in
do
to do
you-
this.
I would. I'd tell Krieg, I'll be right behind you. And then as soon as he stepped out, I'd be like, "Fuck that, gas mask."
I'll
And,
follow behind Krieg.
And then I would probably step more into the hallway. As Krieg went down the side of the wall, I'd be going around to the other side of the hallway in the dark, hopefully thinking that I might get a glimpse of these things.
I'll follow behind Krieg, but I still want to keep a bit of a safe distance because I have some long range spells. So, like, how close is he getting to this thing?
Well, as he goes around the corner, then he can stay along the eastern wall. He'll be at the far end of this room that opens up into this hallway. Opens into the eastern end of the room, and then it stretches back west, basically.
I want to stay like at least like 90 or 120 feet back. I have long range spells. I'm good. I'm here to help, but I don't want to get hurt.
All right. So as you come around the corner, then Krieg, you can see some Coyote behind you, and everybody slowly slinking across the back side of this wall as you all get a full view of this room that you're stepping into. This eastern part of this room that you find yourself in, unlit, flooded, embraced with floor-to-ceiling wooden beams. There's rough-hewn statues, 4 of them, spaced about the room that look like dark knights holding up the ceiling. There's rough-hewn steps that rise out of this murky water to the western portion of the room, which is dry and lit by 2 torches and sconces that flank a stone altar. Shackled to the wall behind the altar is a sickly man in a loincloth, a burlap sack over his head and covered in blood. Gashes run across the length of his forearms, his thighs, and his stomach. An alcove in the north wall contains what looks to be a freestanding suit of plate armor that's missing its helm. Standing before this man, before this prisoner on the altar, are 2 figures, a powerfully built woman clutching a mace, dressed in black rags and a skull-shaped helm, and an even bigger man wearing nothing more than a bucket to cover his head. This bucket-wearing man has what looks to be a pair of iron tongs that glow red with heat in one hand, and the other a curved and wicked-looking black dagger that he slices this man's flesh with. Both figures are covered in what looks to be tattoos, but you'll notice that it's not really a tattoo. It seems like scars or scarification. And as you will step out, slamming your weapon on your shield, Krieg, both will turn their heads to look in all your directions. You guys are on the eastern side of the room. You came from the northern hallway. To the south, there is a hallway, and directly behind you, there is a heavy iron door. You'll notice that it does have keyholes. The only set of keys that you see around this man with a bucket over his head. And we will enter initiative. And I gotta open up because I don't know these guys' abilities. So let's find out.
I looked it up. They're like all level 0.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just a bunch of minions.
Right? Straight minions.
I think they're already afraid too. They all have fear. I'm not sure.
And I'm gonna say that's that. All right. First up, you will see this man that is chained on the altar. His hands are above his head as these chains are wrapped around and runs up to the ceiling. Although he sort of leans back, almost like the altar is sort of a bit of a back brace to him. You will recognize a lot of these same ruins on this altar of those that were on that statue that was in the fountain, Quinn. They seem to match. These ones glow with a very dark greenish light to them. Seems like these are performing some sort of ritual here. And he'll scream out in pain as this man just jabs the dagger down into his collarbone, right in the side of his neck, and turns. Who holds these huge iron, flaming hot tongs, and he'll start to move towards you guys. Up next, Quinn.
All right, I'm going to yell out, hey, because it's pitch black. You said it's dark, right?
It is. At the far end of the room, there is 2 torches, but they only give off room for about half the room. So on your side, you're in pitch blackness.
Anybody got a light? And then I'm just going to, I have no fucking clue what's going on here, and just going to ready a cantrip to attack when I can see.
You can see them at the far end only because they have the light down there. So, I mean, they kind of, at the end of the room is lit up for you to see them, but you just can't see what's around you in the immediate vicinity.
All right. I guess that means that they're getting a ray of frost at them then.
Yeah, right.
Icy hand out and a cold burst to Buckethead for a 14 to hit.
Well, let's see. That is a hit, considering he only wears a bucket.
Yes. 2 damage, though, as I guess I hit him in the bucket.
And what's this other one? Gotcha. So blast, just kind of these blast of snow and bits of ice will rain down around him. Doesn't really seem to flinch much from it. His nipples might get a little hard from the cold, but that is about it.
Perfect. I'm also going to take up, like, I guess I don't really see in the dark, but if I can hear him, I want to take, like, the back line. The stereotypical caster spot in the back line is where I'm heading. I know it's a really small room, but...
Yeah, I'll move you as far back as you can move, basically.
Yeah, which is like 5 feet away, probably.
Basically, yeah. Up next is this bucket-headed fellow, and he'll start trudging forward, takes a few steps. His back hunches over, and you notice this huge hump on his back. That's a bit of a deformity as he charges ahead. The veins in his arms, his legs, everything sort of protruding out. Nothing more than a few holes in this bucket where his eyes are as it rattles. And since you're the one clanging and making all the noise, Krieg, he's going to be rushing at you. And what do I got? That's only a 10, actually, so I'm assuming that misses.
Yep, total miss.
You're going to see him rush forward, and it rings up these iron tong things that he has and just keeps him smashing down towards you. You recognize them basically as big, huge, heavy, like forging tongs that you would have saw back in the forges, the doors and stuff that you would use on the anvils. Not much of a weapon, but if you get hit by somebody this size, it's certainly going to hurt.
Right, still going to hurt.
You'll hear it hiss and steam rise as it splashes into the water. And you are up next, Krieg.
I hate those bloody forges. You cannot take me back to the mountain. And I think now's an appropriate time to rage. So bonus action to go into rage. Frothing at the mouth, he takes a big swing at this, to him, giant man. Oh, shit, yeah. I really wish I could take a picture of this. Because with the rage, basically it gives me advantage. I rolled a 19 and a 20. So there's a nat 20 on that hit.
Beautiful.
I wish I had... That's awesome.
I think you could give inspiration to Quinn. I think she used hers, didn't she?
I took mine from Mithra's nat 20.
Oh, okay.
So I'm back to full.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so that is going to give... Oh, jeez. +2, so that's going to be +5. That's going to be total 10 damage.
Damn. Gotcha. Anything else?
I'm just kind of like thumping him with my shield and really trying to keep his attention. Come on, you big fuck! Bring your friend!
I just realized I didn't put Coyote in there, so we're going to put him into the initiative too.
Yeah, just trying to keep their attention or their focus on me and not everybody else.
Cool. All right. In that case, next is Malachi. As you come around the corner, just in the darkness, you can see just in front of you this huge dark form just smashing down around Krieg and him dashing back. Behind you, the lieutenant's waiting for you to get out of the way so she can come into the room. She'll sort of push her hand against your back and says, hurry up, get out of my way so I can save these people.
Oh, I can't believe you fucking touched me. Holy motherfucking shit. And Malachi will just start walking forward. As the light from the back of the corner kind of glints, and I would imagine the reflection would, scan the darkness, Malachi's greatsword darkness just kind of absorbs all the light and doesn't even glint like any steel this crazy bitch behind him has probably ever seen. And as he watches Krieg run in, he's like, oh my god, not again. And he will scope to the edge of the far wall in the shadows, and he'll just look. All he can see is these glowing runes at the base of this thing. Can he kind of see any identifying marks of who this man might be anywhere around?
This man that's fighting Krieg?
No, the man that's tied up.
Oh. On the other side, Yeah, you've never seen him before. You don't recognize him at all. You can see basically they're just torturing him for whatever reason. He's pretty badly hurt and not doing well. He's alive, but certainly slow death that they're giving him.
Yeah, I'll step forward out of the shadows into the light. Aim at the man who's, I believe, with the bucket fighting Krieg.
Mm-hmm.
I'll aim at the bucket itself, and just at the very top of it, where I believe this giant's forehead might be, and I'll use Eldritch Blast. 1d force damage. Let's see if I can hit him. There's a 13, 17 to hit.
Yep.
All right, so that's 1d10. That's 2 points of damage, but if I hit the helmet in his forehead, it'll knock him back 10 feet. So the force, projected force of my Eldritch Blast would knock him back 10 feet. So I'm imagining hopefully that'll at least knock him prone or possibly knock him out. I'm not sure if I'm that lucky.
Actually, he's going to slam into this thing. You'll see his head sort of snap back a little bit. He'll take a few steps back. His head will slowly turn, looking at you, Malachi, as you realize you seem to damage him, but the force, the power that you were expecting to blow him out of the way, barely even budged this man. Anything else on your turn? Did he lose us? Or...
Glitching out, he says.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, yeah, the rest of you, I guess, would recognize it too. Maybe from just the sheer size or something else. But though the spell hits, the force, the throwing back that you would have expected from this guy, does barely even budges him. Can you hear us, Dan? I'm assuming. Oh, you
I can hear you.
Oh, we hear you.
Everything else is kind of frozen. I just caught on to the last part of what you were saying.
Right. So, like I said, your spell hit this guy. It certainly looks like it knocked his head back and did a bit of damage, but as far as being forcefully thrown or pushed or prone or anything, it barely budges him.
All right, I'll just start to move in slowly, not within range of anything else, but probably 15 feet away. I'm within the next move.
All right. In that case, you're going to see Coyote crouched down beside you, Krieg, as he comes up, just snarling these black nails on either claws. He lashes out at this man that's in front of you, and he's doing nothing with a natural 2. So this just kind of smacks against his...
Real quick, I forgot to add the bonus stuff from the Nat 20.
Oh, okay.
I just looked it up. I guess it's just another damage die.
Yeah.
I already did my damage die plus the modifier. Oh, that's nothing. Just an extra one. It was only 11. All right, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
you're all right. Yeah, Coyote will lay into this guy, but it doesn't really seem to faze him. He gets a couple small scratches across him and what's not, but not enough to even really matter. Up next is this lady. You see this tall woman. She turns, standing sort of back next to this tortured man. She's watching this with a bit of interest. She'll take a few steps forward to stand beside this tall suit of armor. It's mostly rusted and creaking as it stands there, and she reaches out and putting her hand on the chest of this suit of plate mail. It'll glow with a soft greenish light that slowly fades into black, wrapping around this armor. You can all hear the creaking of this armor's joints as bits and pieces of it start to slightly move, dust and old bits of rust flaking off from it. And that would be Lieutenant. She'll come around. She watches you, Krieg, battling this man. She'll turn to step sort of in front of you, Quinn. She'll put her hand behind her and says, "Get that door open behind you. We don't have time for this. We're leaving in a hurry. Get it open." She gives you a bit of a glare, Quinn, before she pulls her sword up, and she's just going to try and help you with this guy, Krieg, for the moment. And completely whiff on that. I think I got your rolls, Quinn. That's a 3. So just swing it, and he'll quickly swing it around these iron tongs, smashing her sword out of the way as it splashes into the water, and he'll reach out trying to grab a hold of you. Again, Krieg. Mithra, you are up.
All right. That was a lot to follow. So who is left for, like...
Nobody. Everybody has went except for you.
No, I mean, like, who is left to attack? Because I feel like I don't want to attack that girl. She's trying to help us.
So at the far end of the room, you'd have to go through the water and forward to get her, but is this woman in black rags who's doing something with a suit of armor that looks like it's coming to life. And then right beside you is Krieg.
How
battling.
far away is she from me?
About 10, 15, 20, 20, about 35 feet.
Oh, okay. I'm good. I'm going to stay where I am. Am I safe where I am? Or can I, like, is it an action to move and cast a spell?
You have a move action and you have regular action to cast a spell. So, yeah, you could. But right beside you would be where everybody's sort of huddled together in the corner right here where Krieg is battling this guy. But
okay,
I mean, he's not focused on you.
Can I use an Arcana check or an Arcana check or an Insight check to see if she has any weakness to a certain type of magic?
Not really.
All right, then I'm going to shoot her with Firebolt. And we'll do 1d20 for that, right? And that's a 12 plus 6. So I think I'm good.
18, yep, that is.
That's my spell attack modifier, right?
Yep.
All right, perfect. And what do we got here? Oh, it doesn't increase till I get to level 5. So 1d10 fire damage. And that is going to be 6.
Gotcha. This blast of flames will swing out, and you'll see it just coalesce around this greenish aura that she has wrapped around her. Flames will spark up, hits against this suit of armor, bits of it glowing red with heat, but she looks completely unharmed by this blast that you sent off. Would you like to move? You're pretty safe where you're at, behind Krieg and Coyote.
No, I'll just stay where I am for now. So she's immune to fire. Good to know. I'm gonna make sure I let the rest of the group know this.
Okay, what I'll see is, it looks like some sort of orb or aura sort of appears in front of her, washing these flames out.
Oh, so is she just generally protected and I have to break through the orb, or?
Not sure, but she certainly blocked your spell. Okay. And actually, she is up first. So with that, she's going to take her hand off this suit of armor, and she's going to just kind of stay where she's at, stepping back a few, and going to take cover behind this man who's been slowly being tortured. You'll see her hand wrap around the front of his chest. These black, it's not her nails, but it's those little rings you would put at the ends of your fingers with like claws. And she just sort of rakes him across his chest as he lets out another gasp of pain. More and more blood starting to trickle. More of these ruins behind him. Quinn and Mithra, you'll notice, glow a bit brighter as whatever ritual has been going on gets stronger and stronger. And the lieutenant is up. She's going to push ahead, sort of looking at you, and says, "We need to get out of here. Get to that door open." And that's better. She will hit this bucket-headed guy this time. Ooh, nice. You'll see her bring this down, digging deep into his side of his left arm, nearly severing the thing off. This time he's going to let out a scream, his head turned around to look at her. His blood, as it pours forth from this, is more of a sickly, dark green, almost black color that just spills into the pool of water around you guys. Up next, and actually seeing that she's done this, she's going to sort of circle around to get on the other side, but basically in between him and where you are, Quinn, giving you a chance to get this door open if you can. Mithra, you are up. You can see this huge man is quite damaged. It seems like Krieg and this lieutenant woman have it under control. But whatever is happening inside at the other end of the room where this woman, this ritual, this armor that's coming to life and this tortured man. It looks certainly dangerous.
And she's still protected by this orb that I can't penetrate.
You assume so, yes. Plus she's behind cover, behind this man. If you can certainly use a spell, but it has a chance of hitting this guy or missing completely. So he's undercover, basically.
I'm gonna turn the rest of the group. Guys, I need some help. I don't know what to do to save this guy. I want to hit this sorceress, but anything I do is bouncing off her and could hurt someone else.
That fellow's dead already.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to be the cause of his death.
Just trying to kill something.
Well, that's the thing. I can't get to her, so I don't know what to do.
Kill the bucket-headed dude.
Pardon?
Kill
Pardon?
the guy with the bucket head.
Well, is that... I guess I wasn't sure if he... Alright, you know what? I'm gonna try and attack him then. And I am... Ooh, let me see what spell I have here. 90 feet enough?
Oh, yeah, he's only like 10 feet away from you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hit him with Chromatic Orb. And I'm going to choose a giant bolt of electric thunder. And that is a 11 plus 6.
Don't forget your D4.
Oh, plus D4, so that's a hit. I would imagine.
And this is important. Do you choose electricity or thunder damage?
Oh, oh, it didn't even say electricity on here. Shit, now you're making me second guess myself, and I hate that, because every time you do that, I always pick the wrong one. Okay, I'm gonna go with electricity instead of thunder then.
All right. Let's see, 16 plus whatever we had. So yeah, that's a hit, definitely.
That's
Damage.
a hit?
Yep, that's a hit. What is it, 3d6, I think, for damage?
3d6, let me see, yeah. So, 3. 3. 2.
This electricity is going to wrap around his body, and this helm vibrating on his head kind of trickles across the waters. Makes your hair stand up a little on end, Krieg. You'll notice Coyote's hair stands up a little as well. Just the static. That doesn't quite hit you, but certainly tickles your fingertips a little. But yeah, he'll completely vibrate where he is, glowing with this energy that crackles around him, leaving scorch marks and steam rising off of his body. He's still standing, though. And Quinn, you are up.
All right, this lieutenant's yelling at me to get the door. Did anyone light up the area yet, or am I just still in pitch black with the occasional spell zooming across the room?
I think Buckethead has the door key.
Yes, you do see a pair. It's a big, huge iron door behind you. You would be right, your back right up to it, Quinn, so you know it's there, and you can see it about 5 foot around you, so you can see it. There is no handles or anything like that, just this big keyhole. He does indeed have the keys hanging off of his belt.
All right, Buckethead, I'm going to sigh, and I'm going to do something a little crazy here. Let's see my best chance of success for doing this. Actually, I am going to just throw caution to the wind, and I'm going to battle cry, yell, and charge at him, and try to jump up and grab, like spider monkey up his back, grab the bucket, and then turn it so that the eye holes are facing the opposite direction and blind him.
Beautiful.
And then grab the key and scoot away.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know how you want me to do that, but
I'm going to say acrobatics.
good. I'm a little bit better at that.
Let's see.
Oh, natural 20. Woo-woo.
Well, that's most certainly. I was debating on the target number, but that most certainly will get it. So, yeah, you will be able to scratch up, swing this bucket around, blinding him for the moment. He's going to be reaching, trying to grab a hold of you or whatever it is that is upon his back. You can get these keys.
Yeah, slip off of his back as soon as it's done. Grab the keys. I will leave his field of attack and head towards the door and risk an opportunity attack. I'm assuming a disadvantage.
I was just going to say, yep, disadvantage. So you see him sweetly just trying to grab at you, swinging these iron tongs around. I think I got your rolls. I got a 2 and a 5.
Yeah, welcome to my life.
So absolutely nowhere. You just see these tongs swing across in front of you, Krieg, down at the splash of water by you, nearly nicking past Coyote as he darts out of the way. And yes, you will have these keys coming up back to this door, fumbling as you look for the keyhole on them. And next up, Krieg. This man is currently blinded, so you will have advantage on him if you do anything with him.
Nice. Yeah, I think I kind of do already from the rage. Advantage on strength challenges, which melee attacks.
Yep, that works too.
Unless I read that wrong totally to begin with.
Oh, you got it.
Krieg, kind of hair standing out on end, beard puffing out from the electricity ripping through. We're blessed! The gods are with us! Can you feel it? And he's pressing the attack into the bucket head. Because that's what he do. Alright, so that's 10. That's going to be a 15 total.
That hits.
I think it'd be an advantage also since he's blinded, no?
Yeah. Well, I think he had advantage already for his...
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Oh, no worries. It's all good. And that's going to be for 8 damage. 8 more.
Ouch.
Come on, you giant git! Come on!
See a huge gash right across his midsection. His pecs that are ripped apart a little bit. Your sword will go quite deep, and he'll stumble back this time, dropping back to a knee almost as he reaches up, trying to adjust this helmet to where he can see.
Yes, look me in the face, you bastard!
And yeah, he will. You can all hear the creak of this armor at the far end of the room. More dust and stonework starts to break around it. Moves forward, this huge iron leg stepping out from where it's at in front of it. And it's sort of in this little bit of an alcove, almost like it was a display suit or something. But as it reaches out, you'll see one hand come around, kind of grab a hold of the side of the alcove, start to pull itself out. One leg will reach out, stepping through, but you notice as it steps forward, its leg disappears almost into thin air. Its whole body steps forward. It looks almost like it's walking forward, and then it completely disappears. In front of you, Quinn, you can see this leg come out from the iron door that you're facing. A hand will reach out, and the body starts to come from the iron door that is directly in front of you out into this room. As this thing appears in front of you, it'll reach out for you. What does it have? No weapons. Basically just a huge gauntlet. It has a bit of spikes and what looks to be a bone shrapnel and stuff wrapped around its body. But you're just going to see this huge iron hand come out of the door swinging down at you, Quinn. Man, that's not good either, but it might with the strength. 7, 8, 9, 10. 12?
12 hits. Does it swing a disadvantage from trying to reach through the gate, though?
Through what gate?
Oh, I thought you said it appeared on the other side of the door.
Oh, nope, it's coming out of the door itself, almost like melging out of the door.
Yeah, that sucks. Okay, then yeah, 12 hits me.
What's the damage? Oh, that's not too bad. 2, 3, 5 points of damage as this comes down, kind of cracking you across the jaw. And then you'll see this whole thing almost looks like it's just walking almost through the doorway, but it's from the door itself, even though it's closed in front of you. And that thing will end up appearing directly in front of you, Quinn.
I'm gonna yell out, hey, the door is fucking fucked now. Or got company.
On the far end, you'll hear this man's gasp again as these claws, these iron nails, rake across his chest. Her other hand will come around, almost like wrapped, almost hugging him from behind. And you see her fingers, they start to disappear right in the center of his rib cage. Blood will just start pouring down his chest. And he'll let out a scream as she reaches in and just brings both rib cages open. All of his bones will start snapping, cracking, and what looks to be his skeleton begins to pull itself out from his body. You all have seen this before, and it didn't go well, but you see that same poison-tailed, lurching, skeletal-like thing start to pull itself out of this man's body. Malachi, you are up. Beside you, this huge, bucket-headed man looks quite injured, is down on his knees in front of Krieg and the lieutenant. Quinn getting bashed by this huge iron suit of armor. This man screaming, and the woman, this thing coming from his chest.
Realizing that we need to start acting reasonably quickly here, Malachi will take this giant obsidian greatsword that he's manifested, and since it's so large compared to Malachi's body, he's going to have to swing all the way around at 360 degrees, and he's going to try to plant the blade of the greatsword in the chest of this giant man as he leans down, and that'll be a 16 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
Sweet. And that's 2d6. So as the sword plants itself in, I get 2 4s. That's 8 damage.
Describe how you kill him.
Yeah, the sword being so heavy, I might have thrown a little ego into it just to impress a little knightly chick. So it's so heavy that it just basically, when it implants itself into his chest, it blows the demon back about a foot, and then just blasts the whole thing down onto the floor. As I leave the sword to kind of just linger in the chest of this man, I'll start walking forward towards the sorceress.
You'll see his body sort of tip back and just splashes into this water. It's only about a foot deep here, so most of his chest and most of his body is up above the water, sort of floating there at a bit of an angle. Huge gash across his chest. His bucket's twisted a little bit still, never quite fixed, dented. Another huge gash along his side. This greenish-black ichor just pooling around him. And last up is Coyote. He'll look over and he's like, oh man, Quinn. And he is going to run to try and help you, Quinn.
Coyote, don't forget you're blessed. I mean, what?
Hopefully I can roll a bit better for him this time. Ooh, there we go. And yes, he will run over, just start smashing. He doesn't have any weapons, but he will do what he can against this iron monstrosity, bashing at it. He sort of grabs a hold of one of the plates on it, starts ripping at it, trying to get underneath it and peeling it apart. Does a little bit of damage. Yeah, he'll sort of gets in between you and it for the moment, Quinn, trying to protect you the best he can or try to draw its attention to him over you. So he looks over. No, that's all he will do. So that is the end of that round. And up first is this sorceress. You'll see her rip open the chest of this man. And if she's going to come around the corner, she'll drop down, almost crawling, seductive, like across the ground, across the floor. And she looks at all of you, and she's going to scurry right up to this dead man that is you just killed, this huge buckethead. Places her hand over half of his chest to start to sink her nails into his chest as well. Mithra, you are up. You see Quinn, Coyote trying to deal with this huge suit of armor, this sorceress over top of this dead buckethead's body. Looks like she's, again, performing some sort of ritual of getting ready to cast a spell or something.
And the suit of armor, that was the one that worked well with electricity, right? Or was that Buckethead?
That was the Buckethead.
All right. I'm going to aim magic. Sorceress is still covered by her orb?
You don't see it, but you didn't see it before until it hit her, so.
Okay. I'm gonna aim magic missile at the suit of armor.
All right.
And so, sorry, Chris, is that...
Doesn't matter for magic missile. It's only for attack rolls, so you don't worry about bless on this situation.
Okay, sorry. I had it written down. It just took me a minute to find it in my notes. I always take like crazy notes when your guys are talking. All right, so 3. 3. And I get to do it 4 times now, right? Because I'm level 2. 4.
Only if you're casting it at a second level.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast it at second level.
That takes a second level spell slot. Then.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I haven't used it in any second level spell slots yet.
So 2, 3.
Sorry, do you have my first 3 rolls?
I got the first 2, 3, 3, and then.
Shit. Did anyone else hear what I said?
4.
Yeah, 3, 3.
Yeah,
4.
4.
Up to,
Sorry.
Up to 10 so far.
And then another 4.
Nice. And this is at the armor. So yeah, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts slam into this armor beside you, Quinn, just spraying off magic, arcane sparks around you. They seem to trickle down around Coyote, sizzling at his fur a little bit, but he doesn't pay it no mind. Need anything else on your turn, Mithra? You are still safe behind Krieg as far as movement-wise. So.
I think I'm just gonna stay where I am for now.
Excellent. And the lieutenant is up as she turns. She says, "Hurry up and get to that door open, Quinn." And she's going to rush forward. She doesn't really even seem to notice this suit of armor in front of you. Rush forward, bringing her sword down on the sorceress woman. Oof. With a nat 20. You see this huge bastard sword she has. She grabs it in both hands, ringing it up and then swinging it down. This time there's a small little flash of this aura around the woman, but it seems to crack like glass, fade around her as her sword goes right through. It does a whole lot of damage. This will cleave down, completely severing one of this sorceress's arms, letting it fumble to the ground. She'll stand up screaming as she steps back, trying to cover up the stump that's just pouring this greenish ichor of blood. This bucket-headed man's body in front of it trembles a little bit, then just goes still, this spell never quite getting off. She loses her concentration. Up next would be Malachi. You can see this sorceress woman looks rather stunned by this lieutenant's blow. On the other side, you have Quinn and Coyote dealing with this suit of armor.
Noticing that this witch transferred herself, basically, like slithered past me on top of this thing, I'm going to turn back, reach, try to grab this greatsword out of this giant's chest and swing again in a 360 motion. And try to land it. It does have magic damage in accordance to attack effect, so I'm going to try to land it in her face.
Very good.
That's a nat 1.
That gives me inspiration.
And I'm going to use inspiration. Almost losing my footing while I'm spinning, but then hopefully catching it to a 7 plus 3 is like, no, 2 plus 9.
9 does not. No, it does not hit.
Yeah, I'll be out of balance completely with this giant sword.
Swinging it about in arcs. And Quinn, you are up. Coyote is between you and the armor at the moment, distracted the best he can, but the armor is directly in front of the door.
Yeah, and this lieutenant keeps on like yelling out, "Open the door!" And I'm just like mumbling under my breath, "Yeah, fucking open the door! Like there's some fucking big ass metal thing in front of me. I'll just walk through it and I'll push myself up." And he's still imposing himself in front of the door, or can I?
Yes, he hasn't moved yet out of the way of the door.
All right, I'm going to say, get the fuck out of my way. And I am going to hold up my hands, and whatever is on the ground, I'm going to send catapulting towards it with the first level spell of catapults.
All right.
Maybe Bucket's head and so I don't know.
Sure.
Dexterity saving throw.
Oh, that's not good.
Damage.
That's what I got. 40 minus 1, 13.
13 is a fail. Take 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
I would assume.
Yeah.
This man's body will just lurch forth, smashing into this armor as Coyote dodges out of the way. Both of them slam back into this iron door behind you. Buckethead's body crumpling to the ground, just smashed to bits, more of a pulverized shank of meat at this point. A huge dent in the chest of this armor. It is still standing, but looks quite badly dented and torn apart.
And then bonus action, I'm going to be thinking in my head, like, who the fuck does this bitch think she is? And then I'm going to realize that I have a very true potential to figure out that. So I'm going to try to extract Lieutenant's true name. She needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oop, I gotta get her. $16.
I think that beats me. Yeah, it does.
So when you cast this, there's this. You're not able to get her name at the moment, but there's something there. You passed her once before, and it seemed to nag at you, Quinn, and it's there again. As you try to pull the name from her, you can. It's almost like it's right at the tip of your tongue, but it just doesn't want to come. But you have this sense of recognition or something.
I think I know it. If I spend an inspiration point, can I just say that I overcome her? Or
Sure.
Yeah, I'll spend an inspiration point. I'm pretty sure as a player I know who it is, but let's see if I'm right. I'll spend an inspiration.
All right. As you do this, she's going to lock eyes with you, actually, for a moment. They kind of squint down a little bit and almost don't necessarily know if she knows what you're doing or whatever, but she realizes something weird. And you'll see the name as it sort of scrawls across your mind's eye. It's Rhea Mantlemorn.
Oh, yeah. Who would have guessed? All right, yeah. And then like a recognition clicks into Quinn's eyes as she starts to understand the situation.
Excellent. And Krieg, you are up.
All right. Still in like that full grips of the rage, watching all these things falling and getting cut down around him. Eyes bugging out a little bit more than normal, leaking all of those tears like it usually does. He's going to look across and see that skeleton ripping out of that other body, and kind of momentarily takes him back to the one in the outskirts of Elturel that knocked him unconscious twice. And he's just going to look at it. You! Ah! And he's just going to tear ass across the room to kind of take a flying, I guess, Superman line blocker leap, shield first, to slam into this thing.
Go for it. Actually, well, you already have advantage anyway from your thing, so never mind. I can say you get it, but...
Is that going to be 15 plus 5? It's going to be a dirty 20.
Yep. As this thing still is pulling itself out of this man's frame, you can see it's not quite prepared for you yet, as it's not fully free, so...
Yeah, I have no idea what kind of damage a shield bash would do, but, I mean, it's just a full-on linebacker kind of shield bash tackle. But
pretty sure shield does D4. I'm pretty positive.
Okay.
Plus strength.
Yeah, plus strength. So that is plus 3, so that's going to be 5 damage.
Yes.
2 plus strength.
You all will see Krieg as he lurches across the room, smashes into this thing. Bones will start snapping. You can hear them crunch. This man's body, what's left of it, sort of smushes and sags against the altar as it starts to pull itself free.
Get out of that and come at me!
And this armored statue is up. While these blasts go into it, you just see the whole thing start to tremble, the wave, its legs kicking out, these armored fists, these gauntlets flailing. Both of these are going to come in at Coyote. And both are going to hit Coyote. Ooh, you guys will see Coyote as he's trying to get out of the way, this flailing fist. Every time this thing comes in, you see different pieces of the jagged armor sort of pull and stretch themselves, almost like this thing is, you'll see like a blade come out of the gauntlet, a harder hammer bit come across it. It almost seems to shape itself and move with itself as it comes across. One will smash into the side of Coyote's head, and you're going to see his head snap back, Quinn. The entire side caved in a little bit as he looks over at you. Another slash by this other armored fist will come across this huge jagged cut from his eye right down through to his collarbone. As this thing reaches out, grabs a hold of him, and then hurls him across the room. Technically, because it hit both, but just to give you guys a head up, I rolled 4 6s and 2 5s. Coyote will just smash on the other side of the room, his body just completely limp and bleeding out everywhere. And with that, the Coyote is up, and he will make a death save. So as you guys glance over, Coyote looks really, really, really bad, to say the least. Up first is the lieutenant. She doesn't pay this man, or this Coyote, any heed at the moment as she swings her sword down once more at the sorceress. Completely missing, but seems to be trying to hold her off for the moment as she looks across at Krieg. She says, "Hurry up and get your friend out of there. We don't have time for this. We need to leave." "What's that door, Quinn? What's that door?"
It's going to be like, can you not see the fucking giant plate of armor crushing skulls in? And I'll just say, I'll call her name, Rhea.
Her head will step over to look at you. Doesn't really give it too much sense, but looks at this iron statue that she hadn't noticed before. She's like, "Well, hurry up and take care of it then. I'm sure you have piss powers of some sort. Get that door open." Sorceress is up. The sorceress, as you're standing there, Malachi, her head snaps over. She reaches out behind her, almost where Krieg is behind her. Krieg, I need a strength saving throw.
Oh, okay. That is a total 22.
Oh, geez, yeah, totally. So
Advantage and big numbers.
So you're going to feel something, almost feels like it grabs the back of your nape of your neck or the back of your armor and starts to tug you back, but you completely beat that. And up next is the skeletal thing, which is basically taking the action just to rip free. So you're going to finally see the whole thing rip free in front of you, Krieg. Quinn, you are up. The suit of armor now still standing in front of you, but Coyote crushed in the corner.
I am disregarding everything that Rhea just said to me, and with abandonment, running towards Coyote. I'll take the RP attack.
Ooh, plus 3, 14.
Yeah, it hits. Go easy on me.
That's double 6 is 12, plus 3, 15 points of damage.
That's not really the easiest that you could have did on me. All right, let's see if I might actually fuck me up. Let's see. Oh my god, it literally perfectly dropped me to 0.
As you go to reach free, you can feel it grab the back of your hair. Your wizard hat's drifting down to this muddy water below you. It just sort of swings you around. You feel your feet come off the ground. Malachi, you'll turn just to see Quinn's body smash against the wall beside this iron statue and then drop into the water. This end of the pool is about 2 feet deep, so you're going to end up going under the water, Quinn. Mithra, you are up. This statue now pretty much just facing you as it starts to lurch forward. You see Quinn's body drift under the water, smashed, broken. Coyote in the corner, whimpering his last death saves.
And Quinn's now drowning in the water?
Basically, yes.
I'm going to run after Quinn and try and pull her out of the water.
You can run up to her and grab her out. You can take another move action, move away, but you're going to incur an opportunity attack from that armor.
No, I'm just going to move up to her and pull her out.
Up out of the water, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I do that? Can I make an athletic check for that? Or
You don't need to make a check or anything. If you want to run forward, it's just going to put you right beside the armor. Unless you move away. But if you move away, then you're going to provoke the opportunity attack.
Like a move way back towards Krieg?
Yeah. Well, I guess it'll be over in the corner nobody's really there now because Krieg moved out of the way. So did the lieutenant and
But
Malachi.
Quinn's okay?
Nope, she's under the water.
No, I thought I got her out of the water.
Oh, yeah, you can, yeah. I just don't know if you want to stay there next to the armor or try to move away.
Is she, like, can she still do attacks and stuff, or am I on my own if I stay here?
You're on your own. She is unconscious or death saves, basically.
Okay, I'm gonna stay here for now.
Yes, you will lift her up out of the water. You can see she's smashed, broken a certain couple ribs at least.
Can I do a medicine check and stabilize her?
Yes, you can certainly do that.
Do my best, Quinn. Let's see. I have to check that because I don't know what. Medicine. So 12?
12. That would be good, but I'm going to use my point of inspiration to make you re-roll that.
All right.
I look, you'll probably do better, but...
Ooh, 18 plus 4.
Yeah, that's fine. So yes, you will stabilize her. So you will be stabilized, Quinn. And you restore next to that. Gotcha. Coyote will make his death save. And Krieg, you are up. The statue finally pulling itself free in front of you. Glance over your shoulder. You can see the sorceress kneeling in front of Malachi still. Quinn being held by Mithra. Coyote whimpering in the corner, gasping for breath, trying to stay alive long enough to...
All right. Man, it's probably a terrible idea, but I think Krieg is actually going to kind of snap out of the rage at that moment. And then kind of, this lucky shield he's found, he's going to kind of look at it and go, if you're lucky as I think you are, give me some strength to do something here right now. And I think that is going to cast his last prepared spell, I guess, Divine Favor, which is going to add D4 radiant damage to all of his attacks. It's a bonus action to cast.
All right.
Yeah, it's going to add D4 radiant damage, which, yeah, is a little metagame that, undead radiant probably beneficial, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe somewhere in the back of his head, he hears, perhaps the name Tempest saying, of course, for that military help. Slowly working it in. So that's a 17. That's going to be a 22 to hit.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. All right, and do you want the damage separated or all total?
All total. It's fine.
Oh, that is going to be 13 damage.
Go ahead and describe how you destroy it.
Holy crap. All right, so yeah, I think he goes swinging in at this thing, kind of aiming into the rib cage, and perhaps this brilliant kind of golden flash of radiance flashes out from the sword blade and kind of seems to brighten like a spark, like sparks flying off as he hits this bony skeletal thing, and the thing just kind of splinters and shatters open, scattering bone across the floor.
Nice. And last up is Malachi. This woman still stands before you. Her head turned. It looked like she was casting some sort of spell on Krieg, but didn't quite work. We'll see Coyote's just a few feet away from you, whimpering. Mithra's in the water, holding Quinn aloft long enough to try and stabilize her. This iron statue stomping towards him.
Watching Mithra pull Quinn out of the water and knowing that right now at least she's reasonably safe, for what it is. And knowing that if I deal with the sorceress, that armor might go, obviously before Krieg destroys it. I'd imagine that I just, instead of spinning this giant greatsword again, since she's right beside me, I'm going to lift my hand. The 5-pointed star of my Eldritch Blast is going to just point blank right in her face for the I just gotta find out what it's called really quick because I got it written down and I should be able to tell you what it's called. So Repelling Blast is my part of my Eldritch Blast, so she'll knock back for at least 10 feet and see if I can hit her. It's 18 plus 4 is 22.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a 1d10, so I'd like some damage here, fucker. And that's a 10.
You will actually take her out then, so go ahead and describe that.
The Eldritch Blast will, since it's point blank and the anger that's just imbued in my eye, my black void eyes, will just enrage in this 5-pointed star that will start right in front of her face and blow through her skull to the back and come straight out her back and smash into the wall and actually create rock blasts going from the ancient walls of this tomb that they're in, and she'll drop to the ground, bleeding.
Nice.
Green ooze.
She splashes into the water. Mithra, you are up first. Standing in front of you is this huge, dented, rusted, dusty suit of armor that seems to be animated. Gauntlets splayed and bludgeoning, getting ready to come forward towards you. Quinn is in your hands. Looks like she's stable at the moment, but certainly not long if you're going to get smashed again.
How close is it to me?
It's right in front of you, so melee, it's 5 feet in front of you.
I'm going to use Shocking Grasp, which is a touch action, for 1d8 lightning damage.
I think you have advantage on your attack roll because it's made of armor. I believe it gives you advantage if it's
Oh, yeah, cool. So
wearing metal.
What does that mean for advantage on attack roll?
1d20, well, you're going to roll it twice. Take the better of the numbers.
Oh, cool. So I get to roll twice? Cool.
Take the better number.
Oh, okay. 6 and 7, so 7, I guess.
Plus your thing with your spell casting.
Oh, plus 6.
So 12, which I believe is the number you need. Armor class 12, yeah.
Sweet.
So that will hit damage.
Oh shit! I didn't even roll. I'm an idiot. I rolled a 1d10 that time. But whatever, I still hit it anyways. But I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. It's 1d10 for damage. Sorry. So that's gonna be 6 for damage.
Gotcha. Even hit with a 1d10. Nice.
I know, right? I'm just lucky.
It is still up, and it is its turn. And with you there, so yeah, you're just going to see these two huge iron fists come in, Mithra. That one is not going to hit, but a 17, I'm assuming, hits for 6 points of damage. That's on you, Mithra. So you're going to see one of these huge ones come in. One hand's going to smash into the wall.
7 points for me?
6, yeah, 7. The other one's going to come in just barely, grazing across your shoulders as it strikes in. And up next, Malachi.
Seeing what's going on over at the other end of the hallway, Malachi is going to start running towards Mithra and his sister. And just the emotions flowing so much, he's not exactly sure what happens as he's holding onto this greatsword still. It's kind of dragging on the ground behind him. He's going to Misty Step for the very first time he's ever done it and end up 30 feet closer to his target. I'm sure that puts me right at the suit of armor, I would imagine.
Yep, you're right there.
And just kind of shocking him out of the rage and what the fuck just happened. He's going to look up and kind of being off balance. He's still going to try to attack with the greatsword, but I would imagine because it's so heavy, I'm going to give myself a 1d4 disadvantage. That's the 16, so I won't even add my modifier, so that's just a 16.
Yep, that still hits.
And
see what your damage.
Greatsword's 2d6. There's 5 damage.
You only had 4 left, so go ahead and describe your destroying blow on this animated suit of armor.
Kind of off balance, but still using his momentum. He's going to lift the greatsword from behind, above his head, and kind of drop it with its weight and the momentum that he has, and whatever strength he can find through the top of the suit of armor. And luckily, the blade finds purchase as it continues to go through and destroys this awful summoned creature.
The armor will collapse into the water, sort of just splashing all around. This Buckethead's body still floats there, the sorceress. Both of them, this pooling greenish ichor of blood pooling around them in this water. The tortured man completely butchered apart, split open. The bones started to form this demonic creature, but they too lay shattered around Krieg's body. And that leaves nobody. You are all set. What do you guys do?
I want to rush over to Coyote, kind of laying over there. He's running short on time.
Can I try and loot the enemies?
Yeah.
What do they got on them?
What do you want? Why don't you go ahead and give me your roll first, Krieg, to try and stabilize?
Oh, no roll needed. Krieg is going to roll over and kind of like, kind of like, I guess, lift his head. It's not time yet. The fight's not over. And going to kind of invoke the cantrip Spare the Dying, which stabilizes a foe or a target at 0 hit points or so.
Ooh, good one.
So auto stabilize for the cantrip.
All right, so he'll just sort of blinks his eyes, looking at you for a moment as they softly close. You can still feel him breathing and stable as he's alive, but just out cold at the moment.
Yep, cleric stuff.
As you look over the bodies, the huge man has a simple loincloth and a bucket and a pair of iron tongs. The sorceress has a dagger, leather robes, 14 gold, and a pouch with 2 bird skulls.
All right, I guess I'll take it. I can't wear the leather armor though, so someone else wants it.
It's not really leather armor; it's just leather robes. But
oh,
and there's
I guess I'll keep them.
You strip her clothes off her, put them in your own pack.
Hey, you never know. I could need some clothes later.
And
technically, we don't have any starting equipment, right? Because of the so
yeah.
Honestly, if someone else wants the leather armor, go ahead.
I'll put on whatever the hell I can right now.
All right,
there's a beautiful loincloth and a bucket.
I'll give the clothes to Malachi.
If the leather rolls even give me any boost to AC, I'll take it.
No, neither one gives any AC bonus. The loincloth is very fancy and well done, and the bucket's cool.
All right, I got me some fancy clothes, rose perfume, leather armor from Elturel, and a nice, pretty shield with the symbol of Tempest.
I've definitely not been keeping track of my gold, and that is a serious problem.
This lieutenant's gonna splash through the water. Quit looting the bodies, you fucking thieves. I'm not have time for that right now.
They're not gonna use it.
She reached down, grabbing a hold of Quinn right by the front of her vest or whatever clothes she's having on. Lift you up and push you against the wall, Quinn. All of you are going to see this blue light wrap around her body, grow through it. It just sort of rolls up Quinn's body through her nose, through her mouth. And she will heal you 1d6 plus 1, so 3 points of hit points, Quinn. Lets this aura flow around you, shakes you a little bit, and gives you a hard smack across the cheek. Says, wake up! We don't have time! We need to hurry, get out of this place. Get that door open. She'll sort of shove you forward, Quinn.
Gonna stumble to and cough
Malachi
up
almost.
blood and just what the fuck is with you indoors? Are you incapable? Get off me! And I'll push her away. And then I'll look around and see where Coyote is. I know he's stabilized, but I'm gonna
with Krieg.
Yeah, Krieg's scooping him up to carry him.
I'm gonna run over to or not run, but go over to Coyote and drop down and kind of just pull him away from Krieg and thanks Krieg. And then he's unconscious still, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna
He's gonna be fine. Trust me.
Yeah.
Tempest said so. I can hear him now. I can hear him.
Tempest. Just gonna look at you confused. I'll kind of cradle Coyote's head and just be like, "Hey, Espen Sophus. Listen, you're not going out like this. You've helped me too many times. I need to repay you back. So I need you to wake up right now so I can repay back all you've done for me." And I do have a healer's kit, but reading it, I don't think it actually gives him health, so that's awkward.
I think it just stabilizes him.
Yeah.
Bind up his wounds a little bit. His eyes will flitter looking at you. You can see most of these patches of fur and these things covering his body have faded away. He's more looking like his sort of weaselly normal self as he's starting to go back to his normal looks. And he'll just give you a sort of a warm smile before his head lolls back into unconsciousness again. You'll feel somebody come over and grab a hold of your shoulder, ripping these keys out of your hand as Rhea snatches them. Tromps through the water to go open the door herself. Malachi, you're sort of in the corner. So where you're at, Malachi, you're next to the hallway you guys originally came out of. You can hear this heavy slam in the distance, and then the 3 knocks of the door and the creaking of the door that you guys came through to get down here open up. The people start to make their way down this hallway to this room that you're in. Rhea will swing around, shove this key into the door, swing it open, and start sort of motioning everybody into the room beyond, which is still flooded with water.
We gotta go. We gotta go now. People are coming.
Yeah,
I've been trying to tell your sister that she doesn't know how to listen in a hurry and follow orders.
You're not helping. Let's go.
This is really awkward, Krieg. I know I kind of pushed you away, but like I'm actually too weak to carry him. I have nothing. Can you help me out here?
Oh, and I think Krieg just kind of drapes him up like firemen carry.
Yeah, she'll motion everybody through this door. Then you guys go. Before she does, she swings it closed behind her, locks it from this side. So just a few seconds pass before you can hear the clanging of metal and fists and other things on the other side of this heavy iron door. What looks to be a small dagger poking through the keyhole, trying to pry it open. And people screaming on the other side. You guys find yourself in another long, square, rectangular chamber. 6 more of these pillars of these outfitted black knights holding up the ceiling. And where is it there? The floor around you guys all buckles up. You can see water flowing up from the ground up into this room, bubbles here and there. It looks like springs from underneath the floor. The water is quite warm, almost hot. You get the sense maybe it's from the same springs that fill the bath chambers above. Right in the center of this room is this huge section that's all basically rubble and bits of fallen stonework that forms a bit of a small island. There's corpses lying about it, 6 of them. All of them just reek of oil. In the center of them all, you see a man. He's quite tall, unarmored brute. He looks a lot like that other fellow in the other room, just this massive fellow, but he at least wears leather armor. Perfectly oiled black boots, and he carries a great club that looks like it was carved from what looks to be just a basic tree in one hand. His face is badly scarred, running down the left side, and he towers over one other man who's in this room, quite small, weaselly, has a dagger, and the 2 of them face each other, kind of circling back and forth on this mound where all these dead bodies are, and both of them will snap their heads in your guys' direction for just a brief moment as you enter. And this huge man takes advantage of it, his club swinging around, cracking this smaller one right in the side of the face, dropping him where he is. And he turns. You see the whole front of his armor has been torn apart, so he's mostly bare-chested. He has a dagger sticking out of his left breast and another dagger in one of his thighs. This bloody club in hand. He is about 20 feet away from you guys and just stares back at you. Behind you, on the far side of the room, on your side, but behind you in the corner, is a pair of stairwells that lead up. He'll turn. He doesn't say anything. He just stands there staring back at you, these dead bodies all around him. His eyes will shift back and forth, one to the door as the clanging goes on, to Rhea, to all of you.
We need his hand.
Let out a little bit of a heave, and he sets the front of his club, the big end of it, down on, almost just waiting. Says, "What? Did you come to try and kill me too? Better men have tried." And he sort of motions at these bodies.
What to worry about?
Nods a little bit. Aye.
Krieg's gonna lay Coyote down and pull out that scrap of paper, the charcoal drawing and everything that seems to be pointed from him. And he's going to walk up. You sent me this in the Iron Scar. Did you not?
You'll snatch that out of your hands, looking at it. His eye stares at you as you come up. There's not a whole lot of light, but when he looks at you, Krieg, you almost get the sense he recognizes you, and he'll look. He says, what did Krieg go by before? Did he go by Krieg or something else?
No, it was still Krieg. Might have used, middle name, but Krieg Kanik. I don't know if this guy might know his last name that Krieg has forgotten. Well, Krieg doesn't actually remember the middle or last name. So, if he knows him from before, he might know Krieg Kanik Ironheart. The head trauma kind of fucked Krieg's.
Well, let's see if he knows them.
Yeah, but Krieg is his actual real name.
And he'll look at you. See the smile start to widen across his face, and he's going to reach out. You get the sense it's not threatening, but he reaches out to sort of slam his hand down on your shoulder. Says, Krieg Ironheart. How has it been? Says, looks like you got yourself in a bit of trouble. These your friends?
Ironheart? Are you talking to me? Is that a fucking insult?
Looks at you a little confused. Says, nah. Did I have it wrong, mate?
Wipes his eye a bit. Do you know me?
Says, we dance together at the bars all the time, roughhousing and knocking out the fools. You and I, you don't remember.
How long?
Says, you and I, we do this together. You don't.
I drew this? Is this for the statues upstairs in the baths?
Says, well, says the statues are drows, much like your friend, but you always told me of the drow maiden that you were going to marry, that this is her. You can hear the heavy clanging, the banging on the door. He looks over and says, we'll gather with this later, Krieg. Oh, we need to get out of here. And he's just going to grab you and sort of start running towards the stairs behind all of you.
I think for the moment, kind of confused, Krieg is going to just stumble along.
I'm with Krieg. I'll follow him. Confused, but I'll follow him.
Because, I totally just wanted to... out of character, he was looking to find out what was up with the thing, which obviously he found out, but he really wanted to take his hand because it's worth 50 more gold in his pocket. But now he's totally, kind of confused. Probably angry.
Ray is going to... Lieutenant here is going to have this confused...
I'm confused, too.
This lieutenant is rather confused as well, sort of watches as this man, Mortlock, will run past, sort of dragging Krieg with him. He says, come on, just follow me. I'll get us out of here. Time to visit the lantern. Says they won't find us there. And he's going to run up this stairwell and start running down the hall. Does anybody not follow?
Seems like a legit enough thing.
Yeah, I'm going to follow.
Just since the guy seems to know him from before, I think Krieg is going to follow.
Went from deadly to fucking friend real quick, so he's got to know you well.
Yeah, I'm still going to take his hand off. But yeah, I'll scoop up Coyote again and just kind of in a daze following.
So you'll start running down these halls, taking a few chambers back and forth, and you all are quickly kind of lost amongst these paths that he's taken. You can see exits out of this tomb or this dungeon beneath the bathhouse that you're in, into the main sewers, across a few sewer bridges, through some tunnels, eventually up through a hole in the ground that puts you out behind the lantern. I'm going to say, Mithra, you'd probably be the only one not familiar with it, but Malachi, Krieg, and Quinn, you're all somewhat familiar with the lantern, as it's a bit of a boat that's docked off in the waters. It's still used now and then for a fishing vessel, but in the evenings it becomes quite a popular hangout among the fishermen to roughhouse, have a good drink, and share the day's stories. He'll come up out of this, pointing over, and says, let's have a bit of drink, and he'll kick the manhole cover back over top of the street. Says, I think we lost him well enough. Says, I don't have much time. And he'll come over to you again, Krieg, sort of putting his hands on your shoulder, both of them as he looks, says, don't know what happened to your friend, but I'll buy you a case of ale. You'll have a few drinks with your friends. I'll get you caught up on old times, but I'm out of here by morning.
The fairy queen cursed me, that's what happened. Look at my face. She took my name.
Does your brother know Krieg?
What's up?
I'm asking this giant man if his brother knows Krieg from before. Since you guys were friends before, does your brother know him?
He'll start leading you around the dock towards the front of this ship and turns, which one?
I don't know, the one that wanted us to take your fucking left hand.
Says, both of my brothers are scumbags. Traitorous bastards, if you ask me. The filth of Baldur's Gates. Too pathetic, too envious of me, too. No, I doubt neither one of them knows much of Krieg, if anything at all. But we used to be best of friends, Krieg. Best of friends. Many of bar fights, many of ales. One time you drank the entire case yourself. I doubt could handle that anymore, though, could you? Getting a bit old. Your beard's a bit grey.
I'm only 147. I still got at least a century under my belt. I mean, how the fuck is it you know me so well? I don't remember you at all. It's kind of making me a bit angry. I feel like maybe you might be taking advantage of me. That's what they did in the Iron Scar. They took advantage.
I'm gonna kind of come up to you and just say, hey guys, just to fill you in, Krieg has some major amnesia and has no clue what's going on with his past. He just had this drawing, and I'll rip it from his hands as I imagine he's getting mad and kind of imposing, and this is the only thing he was going off of. Now, we just found you down in the death cult thing, and you're related to the Vinholts, if I'm not mistaken.
And he's been nothing but saving my ass, so let's not turn this into a fight here.
Don't associate me with the Vinholts. Every one of them. I may be part of them by birth, but not by choice.
So why are you down in the basement?
I totally understand that.
Says I was searching for something. This isn't the place to speak about it. As he looks around, people on the street. Says, go on, we'll have a bit of drink now.
Well, hey, your brother.
And a friend of Krieg's, a friend of mine.
Your brothers are paying us to try to kill you. You just saved our life, so maybe we can make some kind of deal where we get to know each other. You help us with Krieg, and we can help you, maybe.
You'll feel this person step up beside you, Quinn, as Rhea steps forward. Says, I will not associate myself with this murderous bastard. And the rest of you have a bit of explaining to do as well, so if you'll excuse us. As she turns towards Mortlock.
Thanks for your time, Chicky. I'll see you later. Thanks for your time, Chicky.
She'll look over. Chicky? Are you speaking to me, Malachi?
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe, that you saved us and we appreciate your time. You could be going.
Hey, don't the Flaming Fists have refugees to shoot from the wall?
Is she Flaming Fist or Hell Rider?
She's a Hell Rider.
Hell Rider. That's why I hate her so much.
Yeah, I'm just giving her shit.
Yeah.
Krieg's a little upset. He got told he has amnesia.
It was a good diss, man.
Is this news to Krieg that he has amnesia?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's been living under a delusion. And I don't have amnesia. My potato and carrots work just fine.
Right. Amnesia is just a word that I accidentally used to describe what the Fairy Queen did to you. High-level magic.
Rhea will turn as you're talking to her, Malachi, and walk over. She grabs the front of your vest and sort of pulls you forward, her face just inches for yours. She says, You have a big mouth, Malachi. I suggest you be a little bit silent.
Can I impose before this just devolves?
What?
And
Just like, hey, you both don't like each other. We get it. Awesome. You both are fucking super tough and can kill each other. Yes, you helped us, Rhea. Thank you for that.
She does kind of smell good, though.
Yeah, great. Close it, please. Give me a second here. I have no problem talking to you. There's just obviously a lot of things going on right now. We almost died. He doesn't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. We just stumbled into the Dead 3 cult underneath Baldur's Gate. Everybody has a lot of shit to figure out. If we could all just chill the fuck out, maybe find a place to lay down and get our shit in order. I don't really care if you don't like him. I don't really care if you don't like him. Like, it's all good. We can all figure this out, but we just need to not fight and talk it out.
in her eyes, you can see this spark of magic, and it just at the fingertips of her, Quinn, like she was getting ready to do something. Her eyes will lock with yours. She takes a bit of a breath, then lets go of Malachi and takes a step back and looks at the lantern. Very well.
Yeah, you really need to calm down.
I will go.
Point at Malachi.
Says, I will bless all of you with my presence in this shithole, because I have a few questions of myself. She'll turn and start walking.
Said fucking calm down.
Hey.
And you'll see Mortlock as he turns to head into the lantern, Rhea behind him. And we will call it there for the evening since it's 11:30. And
I'm just going to be rubbing my back where the scars of the contract are currently engraved into my back as I'm like looking at Rhea walking away.
I feel like I will also be doing the same thing.
And I think Krieg, despite being angry, he's kind of always angry. He's kind of in a bit of a good mood. I mean, he might, get some memory back. He's still going to be ugly, but he might get some memory back.
That was some great character development.
Malachi doesn't give a shit about anything. So.
And plus, instead of fairy queens talking in his head, now there's some fellow named Tempest who's helping him out with war. And
He
that's
just wants
cool.
to fight, and fighting is cool.
All right.
excellent. I actually have a picture of Mortlock, which I'll put over into the chat in just a couple moments for you, but we will call it there for the evening.
Awesome.